This short video is provided by Bristol Under 17 Driving, the course for 16-year-olds looking to start preparing for driving before they reach their 17th birthday. The course is run by Nadia, North Avon Driving Instructors Association. For more information on the course and future dates, please go to our website www.bristol-under17driving.co.uk. Please note that information contained in this video is correct at the time of making. For changes and updates, please go to the links shown here. The video covers documents, the legal requirements and the responsibilities you have as a driver and the owner or keeper of any vehicle. We begin by looking at the documents and certificates that driving instructors are legally required to display when giving driving lessons or driver training. All ADIs or approved driving instructors must display their certificate, commonly known as their badge. There are two types of certificate: a pink triangle for PDIs and a green octagon for ADIs. PDI stands for Potential Driving Instructor. PDIs are trainee driving instructors who have completed over 2/3 of the qualifying process. They are granted a trainee licence which lasts for 6 months and gives them a chance to gain valuable experience in teaching before they take their final practical exam. The PDI licence is also known as a pink badge. When they have fully qualified as an ADI, they are given the octagonal green badge. Any instructor taking money for training must display a valid badge. Only a PDI or ADI can take money, even the cost of fuel, if they are teaching you to drive. The ADI badge is valid for 4 years. During this period, all ADIs must pass a standards check, rather like the Ofsted assessments that schools undergo. The standards check is overseen by the DVSA, that's the Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency. And ADIs are regularly assessed at intervals of between 2 and 4 years. They are then given a grade of either A or B. On the badge, you will see a photo of the ADI and their PRN or personal reference number. You will be asked for this number when you book your practical test. It helps to make sure that the ADI's other students aren't able to double book tests at the same time as yours. Once an ADI is fully qualified, they will often go on to do further training courses and gain extra qualifications. This is encouraged by DVSA and is known as CPD, or Continuing Professional Development. One of these extra qualifications is to become a fleet driver trainer. This allows ADIs to go into companies to assess and develop those who drive for a living or within their work. Now we're going to look at the documents that you as a vehicle owner or vehicle keeper will be responsible for. When you buy your first car, or any car, you must make sure that you are given the V5C registration document, sometimes called the vehicle's logbook. The information on this V5C form must be kept up to date. On the first page, the page on the left here, section 1, you'll find the name and address of the keeper or owner. This is repeated at the top of the second page, section 5. Also on the first page, section 2, you will see the name of the previous registered keeper, if the vehicle's second hand. Focusing now on the second page of the document, if you are selling the vehicle, complete section 6 with the details of the new keeper. If you are modifying the vehicle, for example changing the colour or engine, the new details should be entered here in section 7. Once you have completed the relevant sections, sign and date section 8 and then send the appropriate parts of the V5C to DVLA. Section 4 contains all the current details of the vehicle, like the registration, the vehicle identification number or VIN, which is a chassis number, the make and model, the engine size, the colour, the number of seats and doors, and much more. Moving on to the third and fourth pages. Notes and information relating to the sections on page 3 can be found on page 4 and at the foot of page 3. Fill in section 9 if you are selling the vehicle to a motor trader, an insurer, for example if the vehicle is written off, or if you're selling it to a dismantler or breaker. Section 10 is to be kept by the new keeper with their own details. Section 11 is to be completed when the vehicle is going to be exported. Section 12 contains information about what happens when selling or transferring your vehicle privately. It tells you what the buyer and seller must do and what DVLA will do in this situation. SORN, or SORN, stands for Statutory Off-Road Notice. You can SORN your vehicle if you are not going to use it on the road and want to keep it untaxed and uninsured. In this case, you must notify DVLA using a SORN declaration. You can notify DVLA by going online to the gov.uk website, by phoning them, or by post using a V890 application form. The vehicle must not be used or even parked on the road. In other words, it must be kept on private land. The vehicle will keep its SORN status until you sell, tax or scrap it. If you are not using your vehicle or keeping off the road, it must have either a SORN declaration or valid insurance. MOT stands for Ministry of Transport. The pass certificate is shown here on the left. On the right is the fail notice. The top half of the certificate shows the vehicle details and a testing centre. This box is where the tester signs and enters the vehicle's mileage or odometer reading. If the vehicle passes the MOT, the earliest date you can take it for test the following year is put here. Beneath that are advisory notes. For example, a tyre that is near to the minimum legal limit but is not yet illegal. There is also a small box on the failure notice for these issues. Reasons for the vehicle failing are noted here on the failure notice. Once a car has reached the age of 3 years, it must be tested to make sure it's safe and roadworthy. The MOT test certificate is valid for 1 year from its date of issue, so the car must be retested every year. To help prevent your MOT running out, you can sign up for a text reminder to get it MOT'd from DVSA on the gov.uk website. You can take your car for its MOT test up to 1 month before it expires, minus 1 day. If your MOT runs out, driving the car is illegal as the insurance will be invalid. The only time it is legal to drive a car without an MOT is when you are taking it to a testing station for a pre-arranged MOT test. As we become more environmentally aware, the smoke or emissions test has become a more important and stringent part of the MOT test. The catalytic converter, or CAT, is the part of the exhaust system that takes a lot of the harmful emissions out. Diesel-powered cars also have a diesel particle filter, which removes and stores many more particles before the exhaust reaches the CAT. Some of you may have a slightly older version of this certificate in your folders. The easiest way to apply for your provisional driving licence is online using the gov.uk website. It's also cheaper than using the post. £34 online as opposed to £43 by post. Your name and address must be kept up to date, so notify the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Agency, DVLA, to make any changes, or you could be fined £1,000. This includes any changes to your health. You can apply for your licence when you are 15 years and 3 months old. This is because at 16 you can ride a moped on L plates, provided you take the CBT or compulsory basic training test and pass. Learner drivers can take to the road at 17, but must be supervised by someone who has held a full licence for at least 3 years and is over the age of 21. On the front of your photocard licence is your name, date and possibly your place of birth. Dates your licence is valid for: your driver number, which is a personal number made up of parts of your name and date of birth, your photograph and signature, which might be the same as your passport, and there'll be codes for vehicles you are entitled to drive. On the reverse side is a list of different vehicles you have entitlements for and the dates they are valid, plus other restrictions. For example, a 01 code in the far right column means you must drive with eyesight correction such as glasses or contact lenses. Category B is car and car-derived vans. This is the category you need to look for when booking theory and practical driving tests. There are also security features on the licence in the form of holograms, raised lettering and raised surface patterns. Important details to check on your insurance certificate are the registration number, policyholder's details, that's the person who's insuring the vehicle, the expiry date and time, which is usually 1 minute before midday or midnight. Putting named drivers on your insurance can be beneficial, particularly if they are over the age of 25 and have a good driving record, for example, no penalty points or history of accidents. You can also reduce premiums significantly by having a black box installed. This records the way you drive, for example, whether you tend to accelerate or brake harshly or take corners too fast. It also has GPS, so it knows if you're abiding by speed limits. Some insurers will give you bonuses like extra miles or a discount to reward you for driving well. Parking on a driveway or in a garage will also usually reduce insurance costs. You will usually find you are insured for social, domestic and pleasure use, but it's worth checking you are covered for commuting as well. You will not be covered for hire or reward, that is, charging people to give them lifts or carrying goods for sale. Also, check whether you are covered to drive other people's vehicles. This is not usually included in insurance policies for young or new drivers. If in doubt about your level of cover, always check with your insurer, as you may find you are driving illegally. There are 3 types of insurance. The cheapest and the lowest level of cover is called third party. This only covers you for damage or injury you cause to someone else or their property. It doesn't cover any damage caused to your car, so you won't get reimbursed for repairs to your car or replacement if the crash is your fault. Third-party fire and theft is probably the lowest cover you should consider. This covers the same as third-party insurance, but will also insure you against your car being stolen or damaged by fire. Fully comprehensive includes cover for your own car as well as the third party, even if you are at fault. It's worth shopping around. You'll find that fully comprehensive isn't always the most expensive. Most insurance policies include windscreen cover and will pay for your windscreen to be repaired where there is a small crack or chip. In the event of the windscreen having a large crack or smashing, you will usually have to pay an excess of around £70, meaning you are responsible for paying the first portion of the cost of replacement. An excess is also added to cover for the car. There is always a mandatory excess, usually around £150, and you can add a voluntary excess to this at a level of your choice. The higher the excess, the lower your insurance cost. So this is another way of reducing your annual premium. When you initially take out car insurance, you may be issued with a cover note. This is your proof of insurance, covering you until your full certificate arrives. It really is worth going on comparison websites to find the best deal. As we said before, fully comp isn't always the most expensive. Remember though that not all insurance companies use comparison sites. Here is a list of some insurance companies that specialise in learner drivers, and of course there are more. All the information in this video can be found in the Highway Code, which is available online at www.highwaycodeuk.co.uk. There's also lots of information on the gov.uk website if you search for learning to drive. Visit us online for more information about our under 17 driving courses.